Yvette. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Oh, my goodness. Let's see how we're doing. Hello, James. Very good to see you here. Two Turtle Tom. Excellent. And hey, actually, Two Turtle Tom, you're going to be very interested in this. I am actually going from StreamYard. Hello, Sean. And so yes, James, you got a notification on YouTube because I am actually trying something different. I am now streaming to both Instagram and YouTube, something that wasn't really possible before, but now it is possible. Now, there's going to be some interesting things that will happen. The best thing that's going to happen is that now I'm able to add in other things that Instagram wasn't allowing me to add. Like I've always wanted to be sharing with you some of my videos, but good old Instagram won't allow me to do that anymore. So hello, Annabelle and Ryan. And so, we ought to try that. And you're thinking, hey, wow, this is interesting. Yes, you are now seeing it as it goes, as it happens. And so I am going to right now present to you a disgusting video. Let me say, okay, let me find it. Let me find it here. Hey, Mikey. Wait a minute. Where is it? Where is it? No, I could have. I was sure that it was here. Anyway, Bill, are you going to be starting selling hoods? You're always wearing a hoodie now. I'm wearing a hoodie because it's cold. And it's cold because my wife raises cold weather geckos. So that's just how it is. Oh, hey. And by the way, Sean McNeely, this is now what you can do with StreamYard. This is, I am doing this on both YouTube and Instagram. So we have a question, BP 717. Bill, I have a quick question. I just got a Hatchling Panther Chameleon. Would you recommend a heat bulb? Yes. Yes, I would recommend a heat bulb because the Panther Chameleon needs to be warmed up to be able to grow. Now, there's a lot of caveats to that. When you deal with a small body with a baby Panther Chameleon, you got to be really careful that you don't overheat the little guy. So you're not going to be able to give adult level basking bulbs. What you're going to have to do is take a basking bulb and raise it up from the surface of the cage. So the top of the cage where the chameleons like to crawl around the bottom aren't going to burn themselves. You got to be very careful about that. And you'll see a lot of people, since that is, many people get that wrong. And so a number of breeders just say, no, don't give them heat at all because they're just trying to save you from messing up. But no, your chameleon does need heat. Now, it is true that a lot of times the lights that you put over the baby cage, like the LED bars and even the T5s, they actually generate enough heat for a baby. So babies need heat. The question is, do they need more than you already have? And that's something only you can answer. What is the environment around them? Is it warm enough that they don't need a basking light? That's something that you're going to have to take into account. For example, in this room right now, I'm wearing a hoodie. Yes, my Panther, if they were in this room, they would need a basking bulb. And once again, high up. So it's something that each one of us has to evaluate for our own situation. Let's see. Oh, okay. Genevieve wants to know how to wave at people. Yeah, well, James is our resident expert in that. So, what kind of fogger do you recommend? Oh, you know what? Sheriff Woody, the foggers that we have today in the chameleon community in the reptile world are pretty pitiful. I recommend making your own from House of Hydro. And I did a video with that on YouTube and with James Cross as to how to do a fogger. And it was one of those chameleon hours. But I am working on a video that takes elements out of that very long video, consolidates into a easy video, and that'll be coming out in the next month. So, all right, let's see whoever else is here. Hello, Bill. Is that Jackson's from those girls? Oh, Chandler. Chandler is asking about a short video that I posted, and that was a past video. I'm going through some of my archives and saying, hey, I really would like to share this stuff. Lead Belly says, hey, Bill, what's your favorite uncommon cage plant? Hello, Southern Pacific Exotics. My favorite uncommon cage plant is the alocasia. And actually, you'll see back here, this guy right here. I love, can you see that? Can you see that? Huh. Okay, let's see if I can. How do I get that up? There you go. You can see it on the bottom, those big leaves. That is a jewel alocasia cuprea. And I love my alocasias. So that'll be my uncommon one. My favorite more common one would be the prayer plant, lemon lime prayer plant, which I don't have one back there. Let's see. You know, I suppose we could go on forever and ever because I really love my plants. Oh, Panther palette here, jumping back from Instagram to YouTube. Hey, YouTube to Instagram. Let's see. Chameleon Igor. Sorry, I am new in this sphere. 5 weeks only. Well, welcome. Is it okay that in the morning my Panther is lazy and angry, and in the evening he is very fast, knocking and asking to go out every hour like a dog? Those are strange chameleon behaviors that could mean other things. Chameleons will have different personality type things, but I mean, when they wake up, they're going to be slow. If you call that lazy, they'll be slow, and they are not. If they're not warmed up, then they're not at their full potential for getting away. So they may be more defensive. He is very fast and knocking and asking to go out every hour. If a chameleon is wanting to get out of its cage, there's a reason. Generally speaking, we want our chameleons to want to be in their enclosure. They want to be in their cage. They want to be in and feel secure, because the cage means security for them. They have learned that nothing can get at them when they're in the cage. And so they like that security. So if they want to get out of that, there are a number of things that we got to check to make sure that they feel secure, that they are enjoying, that they like their cage, and that there isn't something that they want. It's not that they want to find another tree. So you'll just have to be observant. There are cases of chameleons where the cage is just fine. There's just other reasons why they want to get out, like they see a tree or something across the room, a plant or something that they want to go check out. You know, there's a number of reasons why that could happen. Let's see, Southern Pacific Exotics. What do you recommend for humidity and temperature for day and night in the Los Angeles area? Southern Pacific Exotics, it depends on the species, but generally speaking, 50% humidity during the day and 90 to 100% at night is ideal for just about every chameleon species. Some of the Kalumas sure wouldn't mind having higher humidity during the day. But your common species, Panthers, Veiled, Jacksons, 50% during the day, 90 to 100% during the night. And those are good numbers. Panther Pellet's confusing himself by being on both YouTube and Instagram. Stay on YouTube. YouTube is nice and landscape. Eliza Ann. Oh my goodness. You know what? And this is great because I can have Eliza Ann can see on join us on Tuesday nights now. Everybody's saying what? Southern Pacific guy says for a Parsons chameleon, yeah, 50% and 100% is good. You could go up higher during the day, but here's the thing: if they are going through brumation, which if you're in Los Angeles and they are out anywhere outside, they may be going through brumation right now, and they would be expecting it to be drier. Now, one thing I don't know, and I don't know that anybody else knows, is how does brumation require dryness? Does it because if you keep them at that those higher humidities, they are not going to dehydrate. And I am, for my Kaluma, I am keeping them at higher humidities. I am thinking my personal thought. This is not proven, and people may disagree with me, and I would listen to everything that they would say. But I am suspecting that to give them the dry season rest, the brumation rest, I am thinking that is temperature dependent and not humidity dependent. So that's what I'm working on right now. So with my Kalumas, I have O'Shaughnessy and Parsoni that are going through a little bit of a brumation, as in a cool down period. I am letting them go down in temperature, but I'm still maintaining their hydration through the fogging and the humidity. So that's just what I am doing, and I will present that to you as something that I'm just trying. Let's see. Casa de Zoo, hello. Thank you for all the great info. You've been a huge help with creating a perfect enclosure for my Panther chameleon. Excellent. I am glad to hear that, Casa de Zoo. That is great to hear. Any recommendations about the Panther chameleon female? I just bred my Panther chameleons for the first time. Okay, at this point, she is a goddess. You will spoil her rotten. If she has been bred, then she gets her own mansion palace of a cage. Nobody gets to go near her. She has visual isolation from everybody else in the world. She gets whatever she wants. She gets a variety of food. She gets as much food as she wants. She's got 30 days before she's going to lay eggs, assuming the mating took and it all went through. Let's just assume that. Then she's got 30 days, and you're going to treat her like a goddess. And everything she wants, everything she doesn't want is going to be presented to her. Make sure the hydration is on point, always available. I don't know what your setup is, but I would definitely, make sure she has as much hydration as she needs. And in about 28, 30 days, either 28, 30 days, you're going to put in a lay bin if there isn't one in there right now. Or if you see her going down and walking around the bottom of the cage. So that's your job right now, is to serve her hand and claw foot. And by the way, this doesn't stop. Once she lays those eggs, you are going to continue to spoil her rotten for at least a week. Usually I go 2 weeks. So that is the decree. When females are bred, they are treated like queens, and they get everything. Chandler is asking, how about carnivorous plants? I've been getting an itch for one. What about carnivorous plants? You want to put in carnivorous plants? Nepenthes Miranda is my favorite one. Nepenthes alata or ventrata. Ventrata is the hybrid that you see at Home Depot. Those three do really good in chameleon enclosures. Hey, Misty Mountain fans. Good to see you here. Ooh. So let's see. And let's see. Okay. Yeah. How much insects will you recommend at 6 months? Panther, which is the best? Everyone says different things. Of course, everyone says different things. And I'm going to say different things. But I'm right. Whatever. At 6 months old, your Panther is probably still growing. So just feed him as much as he'll eat. Give him as much of a variety as you can. That's as simple. Once he gets as big as he is getting and he's no longer growing, you can pull back on the food. Let's see what's going on here with Eliza Ann. Hello, Eliza Ann. It's wonderful to have you here. Bill, I convinced myself that you did this so I could. Yes, exactly. Hello from Ontario, Canada. Welcome, Elise. Eliza Ann says, can you talk about the vitamin shots vets give, specifically the combo A, D, and E combo shot? Do you see issues with these? I do not know. I don't know of any issues. They are generally given if there's a deficiency, and and so if there's a problem that they're trying to solve, then it's hard to tell when something, if it doesn't go right, it's hard to tell if it's the shots or what was originally being treated. But I don't know of any problems, and I know that those shots have saved chameleons' lives, especially when they're in vitamin A deficiency. So Chandler's asking, what Panazerol regime are you using for the shamrocks? Chandler, I have to check the dose, but I give them a dose for 2 shots, 48 hours apart. And I will know very soon how well the Panazerol is working on my shamrock chameleons. Jose Elena is asking, Bill, are you switching all your cages to bioactive enclosures? And have you seen a significant difference in your chameleons' overall health and well-being? Thank you for everything you do for your community. Well, thank you, Jose. I am switching over a number of my enclosures to bioactive, but I will always have a wide variety. As an educator, I make it a point that I have different examples. And in fact, you're going to be seeing probably this Saturday, I'm going to start showing more of this room that I'm in. And this is my Chameleon Education Center, where I am going to have this incredibly cool bioactive arboreal setup behind me. But then you're going to see examples of Dragon Strand hybrid cage made up, and then a Rep Debris screen cage, both for adults and for babies. And the whole point of having this room set up this way is that I can demonstrate the different ways to keep chameleons at the different price levels, at the different skill levels, and that's what I do. That's what I do through the Chameleon Academy. And so I will be keeping chameleons in a lot of different ways here. I will also be keeping chameleon. I talk about small batch breeding, so you can have these elaborate setups like I have back there. I'm also going to be keeping chameleons in the minimalistic way that breeders typically do, because my end goal here is that one day in years ahead, we're going to be able to take the minimalistic care that breeders have to give so they can do their breeding, and the small batch breeding, the bioactive naturalistic care that is the best husbandry we know right now. How do those merge? And the only way for me to figure out, or anybody can do this, how those two are going to merge is to live both lives and then figure out how they merge. So anyway, that's what you're going to be watching me do over the next couple of years. That's what we're doing here. Mikey Ben is on Instagram and YouTube at the same time. Jose, as far as do I see differences in overall health and well-being? What I'm seeing is differences in behavior. They have a much more active exploring, and I am imagining that to be their mind working more in the bioactive naturalistic. Like my Panther chameleon got all excited about hunting for isopods in the leaf layer. And that is not something that he would do, and of course, in a minimalistic. In a minimalistic, he will grow healthy. He will reproduce, but he will be in a very a low stimulated environment. And so the thing is, we don't know what the effects are. We're just starting now to learn what the effects are about keeping chameleons in minimalistic environments and keeping them in naturalistic bioactive. The thing is, it's going to be a long time before we can put that to numbers and measure that. And so, I don't mind saying, I don't know. I just feel that that's the best way to go. I don't have the numbers to prove. If somebody wants to say that keeping a chameleon in a small, sparse cage with a sprig of plastic plant is just as good as what I've got back there, I don't have a research paper that's going to prove it or disprove it. But anybody, you just decide which way you want to go. If we don't have a paper that proves it for another 10 years, what do you want to be doing for the next 10 years? Sparse minimalistic cages or what I'm doing behind me? I'm doing that. So let's see. Were you friends or did you ever get to meet Brian Barczyk? Yes, I was friends. We had I knew him. We talked. In fact, I was supposed to do an interview with him a week after Christmas. That unfortunately did not happen. And we know what happened. And so, yes, I was friends enough with him for this to affect me. Why does my chameleon blow his neck up and shiver? Very good question. If you see it, if in a couple of days he starts shedding, that's why. I don't. It could be other things, but that's one reason. So, hey, Dr. Bob has joined. All right. I have my chameleon in a hybrid cage with a chimney effect. Excellent. Excellent. And BP 717 asks, what do you do for a living other than chameleon stuff? At this point, I sell chameleon cages. That's what I do. And I do consultations. For those who don't know, I also do a podcast called The Reptile Entrepreneur, where I work with people trying to create businesses. My professional up until a couple of years ago, I was I did product marketing for consumer electronics, and so I led that function. And that function, essentially, every single product was treated as a business. Whenever there was a product, I would put together the business plan. This is when we're going to launch it, how we're going to launch it, how much we're going to launch it at. This is how much we need to sell to make it profitable. And this is our exit plan for when the product will be doing its end of life. That's what I did for every single product. And so that translates out very nicely to any other business. And so I help people in the reptile community do their business. But I left the consumer electronics world for, hopefully, I don't know that I want to go back. My income has taken a serious hit since doing that, but I am happier than I ever have been. So you've got a little bit of my attention, a lot more than you did when I was doing product marketing. Do your chameleons know you, recognize you? Yeah, they do. They don't love me, but they recognize me and they know that I bring food to them. And when a stranger comes, they're not as excited to see them because they don't know those people. When you have a bio bottom, how long can it go before it needs to be replaced? We just keep adding. It needs to grow. And so I don't want to replace it because it should grow and get better over time. Wait, let me get this. But I do more of adding. I mean, things are going to break down. That's what they're supposed to be doing for isopod food and stuff. And so I'll be adding soil to it, adding leaves to it. And so it's going to be a growing system. Let's see. Is it possible for a chameleon to be fat? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I think my veiled was free fed and he's over a year. Yeah. Once a chameleon gets, especially veiled chameleons, once they get to a certain age, and yes, Jitsu James, your comments are visible. So at least this first one is. And so when chameleons are growing up as babies, you need to feed them as much as possible and give them the best care possible so they can grow to their fullest potential. But once they get to the adult size, you've got to hold back, especially on veiled chameleons, because they will just keep eating ad nauseum until they just get big. And the problem with veiled chameleons is it becomes a serious health issue. Not only do you have obesity, but in the case of females, the fat pads will start getting to the point where they'll block the oviducts, and you get a life-threatening situation if she can't get those eggs out. And she makes like 100 eggs, and that becomes a life-threatening situation. So it's important to really pull back with your veiled chameleon. If you've got a fat one right now, overweight, just slowly pull back on the amount of food you give. Okay. Sorry, I gotta change there. Okay. I'm not seeing where you can get a badge. James, okay, I'm not going to be able, I don't understand that.
I was going to say hi, but it's a little tight.
It is tight. You want to come?
Okay.
You want to try to come in?
I'll try.
All right. Yvette's going to try to come in.
Let's say hi. I'm going to go around and be
Okay. All right. Well, say hello, everybody.
Hi.
See, there you are on YouTube, and there you are on...
Oh, hi.
Oh, that's like a delay, so don't worry.
Oh.
Just look at this one.
Cool. Excellent. I can't see anything on there unless I have my glasses
There you
on.
go. Annabelle says hi.
Oh, hi, Annabelle.
And Amy Lynn says hi.
Amy Lynn. Hi, everybody. I already said hi to Jim Cross.
That's right. He's there. And there's Mikey. And Chameleon Igor says hi.
Oh, hello. What a cool name. Yeah. Excellent. Yay. Well, I'm going to be fanting around.
She's going to go fanting around. For those who don't know, this is Yvette is a breeder of Eurypletus fantasticus, the satanic leaf-tailed gecko.
Yay.
All right.
Peace out.
We'll see you.
Bye.
Oh, Jitsu James says hi.
Hey, that's right.
Okay, so let's go back to Automatic Flow says, yes, he just started shedding. Okay, that's the chameleon that was moving. Yeah, sometimes they try to shake loose and break up the skin. So they'll make some strange movements. All right. My humidity went from 40s to 10s in a day. I live in Cleveland, so it could be the cold, but I can't fix it without soaking the tank, but he seems fine. Yeah, 10 is really low. But okay, if he seems fine. Yeah, and especially veiled chameleons, they can handle a wide range. It's amazing. Those things are tanks. Yeah, veiled chameleons are something different. Everybody, veiled chameleons are fun and they will accept a wide range, but they are not good to learn chameleon husbandry on. Things that veiled chameleons will put up with, other chameleons will just say, fine, I'm dying. So just remember, veiled chameleons are just a special beast. They're fun. And if you got one chameleon, veiled chameleons are excellent. I love them. I have a number of them, and they're wonderful. Elise is asking, Eliza Ed said, veiled chameleons are little tree pigs. Yes, they are. Oh, Amy Lynn wants a cat. Oh, Amy Lynn, don't worry. That's in the plans. Elise West is saying he was a rescue. Can I put him on the diet? Yes, absolutely. You put him on the diet, and whatever he's eating now, just slowly pull back on it so it's not a shock to his system. And then eventually you want to get about to 3 to 5 feeders every other day. And someone's going to ask about how big a feeder. Yeah, that's figuring out how to communicate what to feed chameleons is not easy. I'm gonna try to do it. I'm gonna be updating the care guides for and feeding, and I think I need a whole page for the feeding section. We'll see, but yeah, put them on a diet. Yeah, definitely. Just bring it back to about 3 to 5 every other day, and by 3 to 5, I mean things that comfortably fit in his mouth. Wondering if you knew a good breeder to go through for a Jackson's. I'm looking for a female. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to find Jackson's captive born these days. We did a lot of it a little while ago, but boy, it was so tough selling them. It was just really tough, and I'd like to revisit that one day once we get through this. Right now, I'm working very hard on putting together protocols for small batch breeding, and for us to do like the small batch breeding to work, it's going to need a community element. Once we can establish a community element and some protocols for small batch breeding, I think we're going to be seeing a regular availability of Kenyan Jackson's chameleons. I think that's in our future. We're going to see it. We just have to get through this little hump, because what happens right now with everything that we're doing in the chameleon community right now is every chameleon gives just way too many babies, and it's too easy to saturate the market, and the breeder needs to sell them now. They can't wait and sell them over a period of 2 years. So there's things we in the community need to work out, and this is one of them, because Jackson's chameleons, especially the not especially, Jackson's chameleons are just incredible chameleons, and I can't accept that if Kenya ever shut down, that we would just not be able to have them. That's just ridiculous. Fine, Giselle loves the female veiled. Excellent. And Tutorial Tom thinks Jackson I, the Machacos Hills has so much potential. Yes, it does. Automatic Flow says, I have spent over $500 on stuff this last month. I know how that is. Oh my goodness. Oh, I bought the little guy as a Christmas present. Had no clue the upkeep it takes, but I'm doing my best. Yeah, Automatic Flow. That's the one thing about chameleons that are just, it just hits people across the face, because if it's a surprise, is how much it costs to set up the chameleon the correct way. And there's people going around saying, you don't need to spend all that money. Well, yeah, you kind of do. And if you know what you're doing, yes, you can cut corners, but that means you need the experience to be able to do it. But if you're just starting off, the thing is, if you don't do it right, yeah, it's to the vet and a short chameleon life. But here's the thing. Once you set up your chameleon correctly, it's like they take care of themselves. All you do is everything's on timer. You just make sure everything's working. You food and clean the cage, and they stay healthy. If you set them up right, it's like the amount of work just is, you go and you check up on them, you feed them every now and then. It's more work to take care of the feeders than it is the chameleon. So if you do it right, if you don't do it right, then it's a constant battle to keep things working. Yeah, just Genevieve says it's really depressing how they group Jacksons at the shows. Yeah, that's because they're getting them wild caught. They just get a bunch of them and they throw them in together, and it's really depressing. It's really bad, and I'd like to see the shows do something about that. And sometimes I go up and I talk to the show guy and see if anything can be done. And it's worth it. If you see chameleons not just thrown together in a cage, go and talk to the show director. Some will do something about it, some won't, but some will. And it's got to start. The more they hear about that we are not happy, that these animals are not being taken care of correctly, the more they're going to do something about it. And we need to. We have to. That's our responsibility. So let's be vocal about it. You two look like grandparents talking to their well, maybe. I'm looking at bioactive Phelsuma enclosure. Excellent, Amy Lynn. Those Phelsuma do great. What kind of Phelsuma you looking at? Gosh, I love the Grandis. Love the Grandis. Let's see. I was offered $12 per Jackson's, but they were wild caught. That was a hard pass. Yeah, yes. And that's I hate it when they sell chameleons cheaply. $25 for veils at the end of the show, because then the people are not going to take care of those. It's a throwaway for them. Chameleons need to be expensive. And I'm not saying that to be elitist. I'm saying that because I see what happens. The people who, at the shows, I go to shows and I was selling cages. You don't have to buy my Dragon Strands are more expensive than a Reptibreeze. But when somebody comes and says, no, I don't want to spend more for the cage than I did the chameleon, that person should not have a chameleon. It doesn't mean that a cage has to be more expensive than the chameleon, or that the cage, you should be more expensive than the chameleon. But if you're buying your chameleon for $25, what kind of cage are you going to be looking for? So these people should not have chameleons, and they should not have access to them. And cheap prices does it. And so, yeah, I don't like cheap prices. Another Parsons question. My reptile room is constantly kept at 80 with 68 to 70% humidity constantly. I missed for 5 minutes, etc. Rigging up a fan. Temperature cage doesn't. Is a 68 to 70 day humidity okay? Well, okay. As far as humidity, these chameleons live in areas of high humidity. The difference between the wild and in captivity is the humidity in captivity is created by us holding air in. So we cut back on the ventilation. And that's okay with chameleons. They need ventilation. They don't need 100% ventilation. But the thing we've got to watch out for is that the air doesn't get stagnant. And that's when you start getting the molds and the fungus and all that stuff. So the cage needs to dry out during the day. And that's why we bring the humidity down during the day. A chameleon in Madagascar, they can have 90% humidity during the day. But when you go there, it's free flowing and it doesn't feel stuffy. It's not oppressive. The air is crisp and clean. And this is a big challenge for us in captivity, is how do we recreate that crisp and clean? And it's, when inside of a cage, it's a little bit more difficult. This is why I am encouraging people to get larger and larger cages, because the larger the environment you are working with, the easier it is to have those microclimates. And a large, this cage back there, it's a lot easier for me to have the right humidity levels and the air exchange back there than it is a smaller cage. That's just, there's no way around it. That's just physics. That's reality. So, but you're saying my reptile room is kept at 80 degrees. Just make sure your Parsons, that's starting to get on the warm end for a Parsons. In Madagascar, Parsons were hanging out. It was 90 degrees, and but then in the shade gets down to 80. So that's they survive that just fine. But when we are indoors and keeping a smaller cage, we are limiting their ability to find microclimates. So we've got to be a whole lot more careful what we present to them. So let's start at 80 is fine, but I'm starting to get nervous at that point. But apparently you're saying things are fine, so I'm not gonna worry about it. Hey, Amy Lynn, Cam, yeah, Amy Lynn, part of badge on, at least on YouTube, they allow you to do the badge. Let's see. Okay, Two Turtle Tom is saying, let's go to Lalo Lucho. Hey, Bill, I bought my Cam back in September, probably about 3 months old now. He's 7. but haven't gone to the vet for a checkup. Would you recommend to go? Lalo Lucho, if you got a captive hatched chameleon, the chances are you won't need to go to a vet. And if you've got the husbandry down, you won't need to go to a vet. It is useful. Even when I have a chameleon that is completely healthy, I have been known to go to a vet just so the vet gets to be familiar with this chameleon. They do a weight. The vet takes a look at it, has a physical idea of what this chameleon looks like. And the thing is, when you bring in a chameleon that's sick, so much of, well, I'll just say a good deal of their exam is what has changed from when they were healthy. And if you bring your chameleon in while they're healthy, then your vet knows what that chameleon looked like when it was healthy. And so when you bring it in when the chameleon is not healthy, that vet has a better understanding of what the difference is. You notice when you bring them in and you're sick, the vet is going to say, okay, so they're going to have to ask you, can you give me pictures of what this chameleon looked like before? And so, so although you don't need to, you bring this chameleon to the vet, the vet's going to say, okay, well, that's cool. It's a very good looking chameleon. Very good. Nice, nice. You leave thinking, oh my gosh, did I just waste my money? No, you established a baseline that will help you if you ever have to bring the chameleon to the vet again. So I think there is value in having a wellness visit. And if nothing else, you get a very good idea of whether this vet has a clue about chameleons. So it's helpful all around. That's my personal opinion. And, you know, I stick by it. It's a good idea. Let's see. I know this is picky, Two Turtle Tom, but I do believe most Jacksons available today are farm raised in Kenya. That is what the paperwork says. So wild caught, no, but imported, yes. And exposed to parasites, yes. Oh, yeah. Tom, we treat everyone. If they say farm raised, we treat them as if they're wild caught. They are in the wild, exposed to all of the different things that are in the ground, on the insects. And the best place to raise chameleons, a farm, is in the area where they come from. And so there's a free flow. As far as parasites are concerned, there's a free flow. And so everything coming in, we treat it like wild caught. Yeah. Hey, Eric. Got here. This looks clean. I'm glad you like the way this looks. I like it too. Let's see. Well, let's see. Kenyan Jacksons are so hard to find. I've been looking for one for the past 6 months. You know, any company that ships them. Salty carnivores. It's really a time thing. You got to keep watch, and all of a sudden you'll see they're all over the place, and then they go down again. So it's just an ebb and flow depending upon when people ship things out. So Kenyan, they'll be around. Just keep an eye out for them. Sorry for the repeat, but just had to ask 2 doses for Panazerol. Has me interested why Dr. Greek would give 2 different treatment regimens. Number one, it depends on the vet. I went to Dr. Greek's office, but I did not see Dr. Greek, and the vets will have different approaches and different ways that they do things. Just like the fenbendazole I have from Dr. Greek's office. I have one where I have 1 dose and then 1 dose 2 weeks later. And then I have another one that's formulated to where I had to give them 5 days in a row, and then 2 weeks later, 5 days in a row. So it depends on your vet and what the vet is deciding is best at the time. And I actually don't know the answer to why there would be 2 different ones. And this is something that I'd like to find out. And is it just that the vet decides I want to go with this one? Because maybe that vet has experience and says, okay, this one has worked for me, and so that's what I'm going to recommend. But you know, that's a good question, and I will ask the next time I have the opportunity. to speak to a veterinarian, which generally happens on a regular basis. Bill, do chameleons that have parasites pass any in their eggs? So the question is, if a female has parasites, will those parasites be passed on to the eggs? Now, there's two questions here. Will there be parasites inside the egg? And will parasites end up around the eggs, possibly to attack the chameleon when it hatches? The question is, I don't know. I know there's some people that are pointing to yes, as far as coccidia, but I'm really not. I don't know for sure. The parasites, as far as I know, are not going to be hanging out in the oviducts. They have a common opening. So if there are parasites around the cloaca, when the eggs come out, it's conceivable that they could end up around the eggs or buried with the eggs. And now, even if that does happen, the parasite doesn't take effect until it's actually ingested. So the chameleon would have to ingest it somehow. And that is a little, I don't see that happening, but it's still something that we're looking at, but I don't have anything firm for you right now. Let's see. Chandler says, yeah, it just has me worried putting my chameleons under 21 days of treatment. Meanwhile, only 2. Okay, Chandler, call up Dr. Greek. With questions like that, call up Dr. Greek and say, hey, why is this? Why is this? And Dr. Greek tends to have very, very good answers for what he does. Hello, Sean. The Hood Tarzan. I've been watching you for years. Okay. Hey, Miguel. Eliza Ann, any updates on the Chameleon Academy enclosures? I remember you mentioned you wanted. Oh, Eliza Ann, there's going to be a whole lot. And what Eliza Ann is talking about is this enclosure behind me. This big thing. That is the. Let me see if I can get this controlled here. This is the Chameleon Academy Arboreal XL. It's available through Custom Reptile Habitats. If you guys are interested, and yes, that the bookcase is available as well, and it goes on a stand. And this is go to chameleonacademy.com, and you'll see it's on a page. It's on the page. You see on the front page, and there will be a link. And so I encourage you to check it out. This is. It is a Chameleon Academy licensed, and so getting one of those supports the show. So, yes, as far as more, I am building out the line, and we are in the process of doing that. Let's see. See, Howard says, I was reading on papillomavirus in chameleons, one of those diseases we often do not think about. And Howard, papillomavirus is a very difficult one. We don't know much about it. It's definitely a difficult one. Any Dragon Strand baby cages available? Dark Morphs 93, we will be doing, we're probably going to be doing a run of those in a couple of months, unless somebody orders 6 or more, in which case it's going to happen when they order them. For everyone, the nursery cages are the Dragon Strand, what we do for babies. And it's like a special order thing where we do it on a quarterly basis. And we will, but if somebody is ordering 6, then we just do a build specifically for that person. So if you're interested in the nursery cages, email me. Bill at dragonstrand.com, and let me know, and we'll talk about it, and what your timing is, and how many you want, and make things like that happen. My Panther has a clear sheet over her eye. Hope you can guide me in the right direction on what to do next. Noticed it for 1 to 2, a clear sheet. If the eye is gooped shut, then that sounds like it could be a vitamin A deficiency. A clear sheet, like milky. I don't know what that could be. Is she in the middle of a shed? It's probably a good idea to take her to the vet if it is in a problem with her eyes. Available in Canada. You know what, Sean Kennedy? I know we were working on that. I'd have to talk to Custom Reptile Habitats to see where we are as far as the arboreal enclosures available in Canada. I will need that. I will have to figure that out. See, James Ruse. So misting times and length depending on cage sizes. They can. But I prefer to do, especially when you have a large cage, I prefer to bring in fogging to help with the humidity, because the thing is, when you control humidity using misters, you're using a whole lot of water. I mean, foggers use water too. I mean, that water, okay, it's in the air, but it will come down. It's got to come down sometime. So, the larger the cage is, the more you've got to worry about the drainage. But I wouldn't say that the times need to be longer. I just have more mist heads. Yeah, and so I would keep the timing the same as any other smaller cage. I just have like 3 or 4 mist heads, and so it's just reaching the rest of the cage. Example: large cage 2 minutes, and a smaller cage 1 minute or less. Now, like I said, just get more mist heads. I'm in Toronto. Was just wondering. Yeah, Sean. Oh my goodness, I want to get things to Canada. I've got so many friends in Canada. I just want to get things to. So yeah, that is something that I really want to happen. Thank you. Yeah, my plants got too much water. Yeah, that's the thing with misting. It's crazy because when you got plants and you got misters, either the mister is hitting the soil and the plant just gets saturated and dies, or else the mister is hitting the top of all of the pothos and it just keeps rolling off to the ground. It doesn't get to the soil, and so your plant that is, quotes, watered a couple times a day dies of dehydration. So yeah, it's always fun. Gold dust. Amy Lynn's getting a latucada. Okay. So okay. Let me see. Got to go. Bill, if you revisit the Xants, that would be awesome. Love that chameleon so much, and it breaks my heart that I can't find it. Oh yeah, Eliza, and Xants are so great, so wonderful. And I don't think I will get involved back into breeding Xants for a while now. For those who don't know, I'm dedicating myself to Kaluma O'Shaughnessy, the shamrock chameleon, and I want to establish that chameleon, and I am simplifying my life by reducing my breeding to only one species. And so it's been a difficult thing for me to keep myself back to only one species, but I got to do it. And so it'll be shamrocks for a while. So at least for the near future, that's what I'll be doing. But yeah, oh my goodness, Xants are so nice. That is like such nice chameleons. Can you tell me if I need to worry that my Panther chameleon went from a lot of green and yellow and red, mainly red, with just a little bit of green on the head? He's about 4 years old. No, Panther chameleons go through color change. So the color change itself is not a concern, but if you find a reason why he did that, and I know that's going to be tough to do, but the color change itself is not a reason. They do that. I've had Panther chameleons brightly colored and all of a sudden go gray for 2 years, and then the color's coming back. So there's some mysteries about Panther chameleons we're still working out. Let's see. See, Eliza Ann saying, I don't know if I would ever get a Panther or Veiled again, but I hopefully always have a Jackson's. Yeah. Yeah. I always need a Jackson's in my life. Go back. Let's see. By the way, you sadly didn't respond to a comment I made, but what size cage would you recommend for adult Parsons? Salty carnivores. The cage. Okay. So the minimum. I hate saying the minimum, and I almost don't. The minimum would be 4 feet wide, 2 feet deep, 4 feet tall, but that's like a holding area for a Parsons chameleon. If you're going to do that, if you're going to get a Parsons chameleon, go 5 feet by 5 feet, 6 feet by 6 feet. The best, most enjoyable time for me to have a Parsons chameleon was when I actually had a walk-in enclosure. It was 8 feet wide, 8 feet across, 4 feet deep, 7 feet tall. And that was just, I loved it. And so to have a Parsons, to truly enjoy a Parsons, you need to give them the size that is more than they need to be healthy. You need to get a size that matches their majesty, because that's the reason to have a Parsons chameleon. If you can't have, and I'm not just talking to you, South Pacific, Southern Pacific, I'm talking everybody. If you can't have a huge cage, then get a smaller chameleon, because every chameleon is cool. I mean, yes, the Parsons chameleon is the king of chameleons, and they deserve every bit of that. And so treat them like that, or just get another chameleon and treat that chameleon like a king. I mean, you get a carpet chameleon and put them in a 2 by 2 by 4 foot. That's about as big of a mansion to them as a 6 foot by 6 foot is for a Parsons chameleon. And so you can have that quality experience with a lower, smaller cage by getting a smaller chameleon. And so, yeah, salty carnivores. I don't know that I'm really giving you a great. I would say I would love to go. I'd say go for 6 foot by 6 foot, or 5 foot by 5 foot. I think that would be my comfortable. That would be a comfortable minimum. 4 foot by 4 foot is a minimum. 5 foot by 5 foot is a comfortable minimum. And I will say that. I'll just say that's my opinion. Let's see. Oh, thank you very much for the what do you call them? What do they call them on YouTube? Thank you for the super chat, the support, Southern Pacific Exotics. Appreciate that. Stephen Gimp is asking, can you overfeed a veiled chameleon? Yes. Everybody says yes. Don't feed 50 crickets, or else they'll get 3 to 5 every other day is the way to keep them healthy. Any beyond that, and you're starting to really get an obesity problem. Jolly Jeeper Troy, thank you very much. Please forgive me if I don't address that topic, because it will be hard for me to keep it together, and I need to be up here and be happy and be in this show. You have great content, and I've learned so much. Excellent, James Rooms. I'm glad you're enjoying this. Connor, I have seen conflicting info on temp drops for Jacksons and Trioceros honelli. Do you feel either can handle nights in the low 70s for long-term maintenance and reproduction, or is this too high? I think that's too high. But the answer is we don't know. The reason why there's so many opinions is because nobody knows. And I say low 60s to even in the 50s, low 60s to the 50s, because I know that works. I don't know where in the 60s it is that cutoff to where it doesn't work anymore. I just don't know what it is. And so I have to recommend far over to the coldness, because I know that works. Nobody knows. And the thing is, it's not just a cutoff. It's not only is there a cutoff, a temperature, but it's how long is that? Yeah, they can handle low 70s for a week, maybe a month, but the longer they don't get that deep sleep, the more their immune system is challenged to the point where they get sick. But it takes a long time. So it's so hard. Even if we wanted to set up a test, it happens over so long of a time, and so many other things come into play. It is, I mean, I won't say it's impossible to isolate out just the temperature to measure health. So we need to figure out a way to measure how low it needs to be for Jackson's and Honelli. And of course, one of the problems with Honelli is we usually don't get locality information. That is a wide ranging species, all the way up the mountain and down the mountain. And so where did yours come from? That's a big question. At least with the Jacksons, we know where they came from. The two that come in, or the three that used to come in, we know where they come from. We know what their elevation is. So that's easy for Jackson's. Honelli, well, we have no idea where they are. People have tried. I mean, Sean McNeely got pretty good at figuring out where they came from, but it's not obvious. Let's see. Is it okay for my veil to eat dark veggies along with his insects? Yeah, I don't include I don't include vegetables. They don't need it. They need it, as far as we can tell, they need it for rush veg. They're not getting any nutritional value out of it. So it's not going to hurt them, but I don't include that. Let's see. Hello, Ron. How would you set up a cloud cover and rain shower using misting, fogging, UVB heat, and plant lights? Eliza, and you know what? I am putting together a guide on doing that. On the chameleonacademy.com, I do have a schedule as to what and you can find it on any of my care guides. You find a little schedule graphic, but that is kind of high level. I am working on putting a video together that will show all of that. And so I will just say, hang tight while I put that together. It'll be a lot easier once I have that, but it is so much fun when you have all those things coordinated. Let's see. So the chameleon doesn't shoot its tongue like normally. What could be wrong? Carl O's, there could be a number of things wrong. And so the thing is, you got to figure out what is wrong and treat that. There's always vitamin deficiencies. There is mineral deficiencies that could cause that. And so, yeah, you got to take it to the vet and figure out what exactly is going on. The thing is, there's different, depending upon what's wrong, there'll be different treatments, and you can't just do the same treatment. You don't want to do the wrong treatment. Bill, have you used that Rainmaker head for your Mist King instead of their normal nozzles? Howard, I don't know what the Rainmaker head is. Now, it could very well be that I have it, because I have tried some other third-party nozzles. I don't know if any of those are Rainmaker. Oh, wait a minute. Are you talking about the one that Mist King makes? Oh, I call it the Rain Dome type thing. I actually haven't set that up yet. Yeah. Hangs on the top and rains. Okay, I think that's what you're talking about. Okay, no, I haven't. I have it, but I haven't set it up yet. You know what? I will have an opportunity to do that within a couple of weeks. So I think I'm going to try again. You never know. And let's see. Do you have a list of reputable chameleon breeders? James is asking. And no, I don't. I share when people ask, I will share the ones that I work with. But the problem with having a list is that breeders shift and the quality they give shifts. And so, and in both ways, sometimes good breeders just slack off. And then other times, breeders that have just struggled, they finally get their act together. And so there's a definitely an up and down. So I prefer to just, whenever somebody wants to know, I just share who I'm working with at the time and go from there. Like right now, if you're looking for a Panther chameleon, I have Panther chameleons from Frams Cams and iPardalis. And I've had both Brian and Carolyn Left From Boys on my podcast. And yes, that's the way they pronounce it. So don't you French people get on me. And you can get to know them. Jonathan Hill of iPardalis. I actually have a podcast made by him on the Chameleon Academy. So you can get to know him. Take a look at the podcast episodes, take a look at the YouTube videos, and you will get to know these breeders from these episodes. And so that's how I how I deal with the recommendations. So, all right. See, Eliza Ann says, I follow your care guides. I am just a little extra and want more with my afternoon misting system. Well, Eliza Ann, you are a little bit extra, but you are also worth a little bit extra. So we are going to give you extra. And I'm going to make a video. If you want to give a little, you want more with your afternoon misting session. So what is it you give right now? Do you do the whole? I mean, so for everybody who's here, when we talk about sometimes, like I like to give my chameleon a summer shower, an afternoon shower, and so what I do is the first step to get ready is I take down all the lights except for one, and that replicates cloud cover coming over, and then I start the fogger, and then the fogger starts raising the humidity around, and I do these about 5 minutes apart, so the chameleon learns that means it's about to rain. And then when the misters excuse me, and then the misters come on, and then soaks the entire area for a couple of minutes, however long I want to do that. And then I reverse the process, and the lights come back on, or else I do it right at the end of the day, and the lights just start going off. And I've pretty much hydrated and saturated the cage and all the surfaces, and I like that a lot. So that's what I do for my summer afternoon shower. All right, everybody, we are coming to the end of this live session. Go ahead, put any last questions. Any last questions on, and we will close this up. The next live session is going to be on Saturday. Actually, I am going to be on a live with the Reptile Show reporter tomorrow, and we're going to be talking about where to find good information. So Reptile Show reporter on YouTube, and I'll be there with Sean McNeely. We'll be talking about, I don't know if Two Turtle Tom is joining us, but anyway, and we're going to be talking about how to find good information. And then on Thursday, I'm joining, Turtle Talk? The Turtle Talk podcast? I forget. Anyway, it's with Two Turtle Tom. What is your podcast called? So we're going to be doing that. Sean and I are coming on with Two Turtle Tom on Thursday evening, 5 p.m. Pacific, and we're going to be talking about the Kenyan chameleons. And so we get to talk to the turtle people about Kenyan. Two Turtle Tom live. Okay, thank you, Two Turtle Tom. Two Turtle Tom live on YouTube. And so we're having a lot of fun with Sean and Two Turtle Tom. Let's see. Do you feed your cams with a food dish, or do you allow your insects to roam freely in the enclosures? Lalalucho, I feed with a feed a run cup. That's a cup that has a back that allows them to run up, and that gives. But I don't like. I mean, yes, with a lot of my chameleons, like if I know that they're free of parasites and everything like that, I will put a bunch of crickets up on the side of their screen cage, and they run up. But usually, I like to do feed a run cups. Keeps them contained. So let's see. Oh, there's Liza Ann saying, yeah, we all have a lot of fun with the Reptile Show Reporter. And then I joined I watched a Two Turtle Tom live, and yeah, they're talking about a whole new turtles. I don't know anything about turtles. Oh, yay, we get to be introduced to the turtle community. All right, let me do this one last question here. My Jackson's chameleon is 6 months old, and she won't eat much else besides fruit flies or hornworms. Don't know if I should wait or just start forcing her to turn to bigger food. Definitely at 6 months old. Well, okay. As long she should be a subadult at 6 months old. Now, if she was stunted, she may not be that. So what I would do is get an appropriate size cricket that's comfortable for her to eat and only offer that. Eventually, she will get hungry enough to eat that cricket. Don't give her fruit flies. Don't give her hornworms. She eats hornworms and fruit flies. That's a size disparity. But yeah, if you wanted to wean her onto other things to eat, yeah, just take away all the other things. And chameleons can go a little while, definitely, I mean, days without eating and with absolutely no physical problem. So you're just going to have to only offer whatever food item it is you want her to eat, presumably crickets or dubias, whatever. All right. How many chameleons you currently own? I don't know. And are you still focusing on panthers or shifting your efforts to expand on carpet chameleon care? Jose, I am actually shifting my efforts to focus on the shamrock chameleon, which means I can't, as much as I want to breed my panthers that I've got, I can't, because if I breed my panthers, I'm going to get baby panthers, and that takes a lot of work, and I need to focus on my shamrocks. They're not there, and this is a challenge for me. They're not easy. I got a mating. I'm hoping to get eggs. So the Kaluma, being successful with a Kaluma is a goal of mine. So we'll see if I can pull it off. I'm optimistic. I hope. Anyway, we'll see. You guys are, and you know what? You guys are going to be with me for every step of the way, whether I succeed or go down in flames. You're going to be here. So, all right, everybody. It's time. It's time to go. And come see me tomorrow at the Reptile Show Reporter, and Thursday for Two Turtle Tom Live. And then on Saturday, we're going to be back. It'll be on YouTube, 12 noon Pacific. And for Chameleons and Coffee. Oh, my goodness. What a week this is going to be. Anyway, everybody, thank you very much for coming by. It was really good to have this. We had a great time. And I love the fact that you all are taking care of each other and talking to each other in the comments. And that is what community is all about. So thank you very much for all being awesome. I'll see you next time.